So, Sean Cavanagh, what a result that was on Saturday. Again, Kerry opposition. Do you just love coming up against Kerry teams?
It wasn't like that probably at the start of my career. I definitely did. In the middle of my career and towards the latter end, maybe not so much. Kerry would have had the edge on us probably from 2010 onwards, but yeah, it was sweet. It was a sweet one to be able to play against Mark O'Shea, someone obviously had such titanic tussles with over the years, and probably have come out on the right side of those more times than not. And but with their club jerseys on and in such a historic venue, Semple Stadium, it's something that just didn't enter the realms of my possibilities whenever I was walking away down those steps at the end of August for the Dublin game. So it's replaced that county bug, that love for Gaelic football that I thought that it was going to be missing for a while, and this club run has certainly replaced that more.
Because I guess there's something so rare about a club run as well, that it's very hard to do back-to-backs and stuff like that, and then you get promoted, especially when it's an intermediate setting. So I guess that whole kind of feeling that this is a once-in-a-lifetime sort of run, isn't it?
It really is. I think we all know that Saturday night may be the only time in our lifetimes that the Moy may get to play in Croke Park. The last time we even won a championship was an intermediate championship back in 1982. So that was a year before I was born. My dad was playing on that team. He's reminded me that a few times. There's guys that I would have played under 10, under 12 football that are still leading players for our senior team that have never had the chance to play on such a big stage. I've been blessed in my career to have played so long for Tyrone and to have won so many things and to have graced the surface so many times. But I think I'm more excited about those guys. Those guys will get their only chance on Saturday to put their boots on and run on to Croke Park. And on Saturday evening, the questions were being had or being fielded from me or to me. What's the change rooms like? What's the surface like? What's it like to score? What's it like? So the excitement levels are at fever pitch and around the Moy and within the Moy team at the minute. And yeah, the whole community's just buzzing, and that's something that it's probably it is different to the county piece, because you come here and with Tyrone and there's masses. Of course, there's tens of thousands of people. 99% of them you don't know, but on Saturday there might be a couple of thousand people, and I'd say I could name you the name of 99% of those people, and they're from all backgrounds. It's really encapsulated all religions, all ethnic backgrounds will be here supporting the Moy on Saturday.
What did happen with Mark O'Shea on Saturday?
Oh yeah, as the time the 14 for Gaeltacht was struck out in one of our players, and I happened to be standing right beside it. So I was trying to bring it to the attention of the linesman that there was a strike. Mark obviously didn't like the way that I was trying to bring it to the linesman's attention, but nothing more than that. He maybe knew that his full forward was in a bit of bother and didn't want too much attention brought to it. I'd say I was on the other side of that, but no, I'd say I've the utmost respect for Mark. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, inter-county player and Gaelic football defender that I've ever played against. So to get to shake his hand before and after the game on Saturday, to get to play against him for 60 minutes for one last time was something that I'll always treasure and I'll always remember.
Another thing that happened on Saturday was in the Irish Times, Keith Duggan did a great interview with Mickey Hart, which got a lot of people talking. And from a competitive sense, one of the lines that really stuck out to me was that ye had planned to contain Dublin for 45 minutes, I think, of that game last year, and obviously the early goal put paid to that. What was the plan after that containment approach?
I suppose that was the issue, in that the one thing in every game that we had played to date, in the championship, we had always contained teams and always managed to either stay with them or get ahead of them, and in most games we got ahead of them fairly early on, and it allowed us to play that counter-attacking approach. So if I'm perfectly honest, were we ready to change our system? Probably not. If I'm honest, and I'd say Mickey would tell you the same, or should tell you the same. We, as a player group, it shocked us. O'Callaghan's goal, we didn't see it coming. We were thinking, stay in the game, invite Dublin onto us, and play the style of football we'd been used to. And you have to give Dublin credit to that, because they did spot that we wanted to play like that, and they changed it very quickly. They ran the ball down the wings. It was a dry day. They moved the ball through the hands incredibly quickly. They got their scores early, and then they imposed their game plan on us. So for us, looking back on it, it was probably more of a gamble. And once Dublin took us out of our comfort zone, we struggled, and we struggled badly.
That's one thing that's going to be very interesting this year, is to how Tyrone kind of tweak that, as in going from one end of the spectrum really to kind of somewhere in the middle, that adaptability approach. Have you heard anything from the camp this year as to how that approach might manifest itself in the pitch?
Okay, well, obviously they brought in Stevie O'Neill. Stevie's probably one of the most, if not the most instinctive forward that I've played with in terms of his football intelligence, the runs that he made off the ball. And yeah, he's pretty lethal whenever he had it as well. But you can't coach that to guys. But you would hope that if he was given, I suppose Mickey has to trust him, and Mickey has to trust, and it has to what Stevie wants to do has to marry into what Mickey wants to do ultimately with the team, and the style and the way in which you can change styles of playing within games. None more so probably than the way we use Colm, and he's such an effective sweeper. He's the best in the business in the country. Colm probably is also a really good attacker, a really good strong runner with the ball, and our system of 2017 was very much set up so that he would sit and hold at all times. There may be times he might get unleashed to move forward, and that's what it looks like. That's what is going to have to happen, and I think most teams now are appreciating that. They can't just be a slave to one system, and Dublin are certainly ahead of the game with that. Dublin have so many strings to their bows, and so many different ways of playing within a game, and that's what you have to have. And they're probably 20-30% ahead of the pack at this stage, and everyone else is catching up.
You mentioned Stephen O'Neill there. We've also got Ricey McManaman in with an inter-county setup this year. Is there going to be a situation kind of like the class of '92 where this Tyrone great team is ever present and will be looking for coaching jobs and managerial jobs left, right and centre?
Ricey's definitely going to be an interesting one on the sidelines this year. I'm looking forward to that, and following some of the Fermanagh games, because there'll be I'm sure a few explosions happening along the line with Ricey there. But
Tyrone and Fermanagh on the same side of the draw, I think.
Yeah, it would be an interesting one to see them come head to head, and there'll be no love lost at times, and everyone knows how Ricey goes about his business.
What about yourself?
I'm kind of hoping. I'm still calm to have a player at this stage. I'm hoping I'm going to get another few years out of the body yet to play on. You just never know what will happen down the line. It's not something that has entered my thought process at this stage. I've been that busy with setting up a new business last year, with the whole club run, with a bit of media work. It's all happening in that front. So,
and then a final point, I guess, just ahead of this weekend, a huge day. You kind of detailed it quite well, but I don't think a lot of people are actually familiar with what kind of place Moy is. You've detailed the community there. What would this mean to Moy and the community and the footballing culture in that place? Because you mentioned your father there, and it's now is the time to replicate that.
Okay, look, Moy has obviously a number of really top-class inter-county footballers playing for Tyrone, back to generations. Plunkett Donaghy was a huge player through the 80s. Obviously myself and Ryan and Philly and Colm has won all Irelands with Tyrone, but it would probably be more so known. There's a big antiques store in the middle of the town. People would flock to it from all over Ireland. It has a country dance on a Saturday night, and every Saturday night the square is filled with cars from all the surrounding areas. People come from far and wide to see the likes of Nathan Carters and guys of that ilk. Not my thing, but certainly something I used to work in it. But also, there's no denying the Moy had a bit of issue back early 90s with religions and paramilitary attacks, things like that. There was a few people murdered. It's such a harmonious place now to live, and it's great that our club is at the middle of that, and we now have playing members from all religions, from all ethnic backgrounds. There's a few people that would have emigrated into the Moy area from Eastern Europe that are working in local factories, etc. And it's brilliant that our club can be the hub of that, and something to bring all those communities together. And you're hearing talking to some of those guys, some of those people from non-GA, traditional GA backgrounds over the last couple of weeks, and they're all engulfed in this bit of a run that the club is having, and they'll all be here on Saturday night in Croke Park. And to me, that's something that's uniquely special about the GA. It's got a great way of bringing everyone together, and I'm sure there've been an awful lot of people entering these doors for the first time on Saturday night from the Moy village, and that's you just really can't define that.